Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to share a nice Vienna game with you. This is a 10-minute rapid that I just played to vent after my last 15 plus 10 rapid. I seem to get better results in 10 minutes, it has to be said. Okay, I think there's a lot of kind of thematic stuff here, particularly about when to attack and launching a decisive attack. So let's go. We have e4, e5, knight c3, the Vienna game. This is the Falkbeer. And I'm playing this g3. Now, this is not the most familiar move at the intermediate level. Opponent brings out bishop, I think, more or less whatever they do. You're going to do the same kind of things. Now, there may be slight differences if they play this, whatever it's called. I can't even remember. Ziravlev. Yeah, I don't know. You might want to play knight ge2 there to replace the knight. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it. I've faced it twice, I think. Okay, interestingly now, he retreats the bishop without being prompted, which is a little bit odd. Because I'm thinking, you know, one of the themes that you must remember in this g3 Vienna is, if or when they bring their bishop out and they push d6, which they're going to want to do to unleash this bishop at some point, right? Then it cuts off that bishop's escape down there, so you want to play knight a4, to hit the bishop if it comes here. You can hit it again with the pawn. You're going to get that bishop off the board. This is very important because the bishop's looking down at g1, which is exactly where our king wants to go. And it doesn't stop our king from going there, but it could cause problems later on. Okay, so knight ge2 now. Very typical thematic stuff. You play these same first 5, 6, 7 moves in nearly every game, which is one nice thing. And what the hell is c5? Where's that come from? Now, I know that c4 is a move recommended by the engine very often, but he's blocking in this bishop. I'm thinking that just looks really odd. So anyway, I castle anyway. He castles. I push d3. Right? I've had this position now a couple of dozen times. This exact position. So it's very pleasant because it's like a system now. And Now we have d7. Now, another rule to remember is, if the d pawn is moved and you have a knight and you have a bishop, both of which can come to this g4 square, it's very often a good idea to push h3. Okay. First, I bring my king over to h1 just to get out of any silliness. I don't want any discoveries, and I don't really want the pin on the pawn. We have h6 from black. I push h3. Point is, it's stopping both of these pieces, either of these pieces, from accessing the g4 square, which we do not want. Bishop comes out to e6, and now I break, right? And this is generally, this is where you pull the trigger in the Vienna, but the g3 Vienna in particular. Now, it might look here like this light square bishop is doing nothing at all. But, well, we'll see if it finds a role for itself later on, which it very often does. But it's also being a defensive bishop. It's also defending h3, right? And black's going to find it very difficult. Now, looking at pawn f2 to f4, right? This bishop is currently kind of blunted. What I really want to do is push f5. Because if we get this, like, connect 4-pawn chain here, right? Then this is like a big spiky hedge, and most of black's stuff is on the wrong side. You're on the wrong side of the hedge, love. You know, all the action's going on this way, right? And all his stuff is wandering around in all this space over here. It's like, fine, take all the space you want. So he develops his knight, and immediately I push f5. And now this bishop is out of the game, right? This knight isn't playing any part in the proceedings whatsoever, and that bishop, I don't know what's going on with that bishop. He cemented it in himself, right? He brings back his light square bishop for reasons best known to himself. I now develop my bishop. Now, the computer doesn't approve of this, but here it says white is only at the tiniest edge, right? I haven't improved my position since the start of the game at this point. And to be fair, I'm not even sure why I played that move now, looking at it. Oh, yes, I do. I know. I want to put my queen behind the bishop. I want a battery against h3, h6. So since he pushed h7 to h6, that has created, that has got a target pinned to its back, right? That says kick me, okay? Well, not kick me. I'm not going to kick it. I'm going to kill it. Right? It's got a target on its back. So that's the idea. And obviously I couldn't put my bishop here or here, so that's exactly why I put my bishop here. It's not to contest this bishop at all. Right? Opponent brings his knight in. And now I kind of need to do some reshuffling. Right? I need to rearrange the deck chairs a bit here. My knights are both kind of bad. This knight in particular. And obviously I don't want to take that knight. That would be a blunder. Either pawn takes, and that's a pawn fork on my knight and my bishop. Right? You're always going to be careful of that. So I lift my queen. The reason is I'm thinking about rerouting this knight round to here, so it can be part of my attack when I launch my attack, and the timing of the attack is important. He now puts his bishop at Y, right? But he's got nothing to all he can do is just play musical chairs here, right? And here I pull the trigger. After doing that, I thought, well, no, hang on. I would like to take this knight out, actually, but I do it later. So now I pull the trigger. Now all of his bits are on the wrong side of the board, okay? And he has a jolly good think here, actually, 48 seconds. And he's on 8 minutes 41. I've used just over a minute of my time. Is he going to take the bishop? And he doesn't take it, which I think was a mistake. And my bishop just flies straight back. The computer says that wasn't best, actually. The computer here is saying I should push an f6. Curious. Okay, so I save the bishop anyway, you know. He brings out his queen. And now I want to bring these knights around. Now that as soon as the queen goes out, I'm thinking knight f2, knight g4, hit the queen. Maybe ideas of coming in here, if I could like get my queen onto like here or something like that, pinning the pawn. We'll see. And now a5, which is again just a mare move, for as far as I can tell. Round comes the knight, across comes the rook. It's now +3, and I trade off the knight. Computer says shouldn't have done that, mate. You should play knight g4. You know what I mean? But I figure takes, pawn takes, and now look at this bishop, right? We have two completely closed files in the center. And look at where his bishop's pointing, straight at the brick wall. So now I come in, counterattack the queen. Queen retreats, and now f6. Okay. So what he should do here apparently is take my bishop and counterattack my queen, because that's a continuity. I don't think he does that in the game. He takes with the knight. Now I take the knight with check. And if the queen takes here, the queen is lost. So pawn takes is practically forced, although it's 0.05 of a pawn difference actually between the two. They're both not brilliant. And now bishop h6 is the best move, forcing the rook away. And in comes the queen. I would love to come to here, but I can't. So I have to go slightly long way round. Bishop comes up, preventing actually queen g4. And then I see queen f3. I'm going to come after this pawn. What was the best move there? Apparently rook f5. I mean, I've got a spare rook. I guess rook f5 takes. These pawns are then blocked in. The queen can't come round. The rooks can't come to help. It's like, who's going to defend the king? Anyway, so I do this. Computer says he could have done a bit better. He pushes. Okay, so what do we play here? I take the pawn, because I've got 3 attackers, right? Queen blocks, queen g4 check. This is all about the pressure now. King comes to here, and now I realise there's a few things. I mean, I could have, maybe I should have done this. Bishop g5, skewering queen and rook. I actually just bring the bishop all the way back, which is not fantastic. Allows this rook to come in and add some ballast anyway. And now I see this. I just missed it. I just missed it on the previous move, and here my opponent actually resigns. So I thought that was interesting. Kind of very thematic game in getting, you know, when to push f4, getting in f5 if you can, and then just launching a vicious assault against the king side. Another theme as well is the idea of capturing this this hook pawn that's been pushed usually to kick a piece away or to take a square away, but you've got to be very careful about that, as I found in a game last week. So yeah, very much liking this this approach. I know that my opponents don't. Because they don't know the theory like they do playing against the Vienna Gambit, for example, right? So if I see the Vienna Gambit, I know exactly what I'm doing for the first 5 or 6 moves. I don't see this. So I'm going to be on my own from move 3 with the black pieces against something like this. And that's kind of the point. Add to that the fact that top players play 3g3 for a good reason. I figure it's worth getting to know, getting acquainted with this little opening, and see where it takes us. I mean, in actual fact, it's still only +2 for white here. The computer's saying you should bring your queen back there. We can trade off. Queen can trade. But yeah, I mean, it's by no means a lost position, but it's definitely much better for white. And the point is that psychologically, my opponent was feeling beaten, and that's a big part of the game, I think, to be honest. So there you go. So I hope that was useful for you. I hope I've been giving you some inspiration to pick up the 3g3 Vienna for yourself. Let me know in the comments if you want me to keep these games coming. You know, when I get a good one. Or even when I completely fail and fall on my face, let me know if you want to see that. Okay, thanks for watching everyone, and see you soon.